Welcome back. So moving on to another topic. A man, Adeniyi Jose, has committed suicide after strangling his wife, Chidinma Gloria Ibeh, to death at the SDP area of Kwamba in Suleja local government of Niger State. The late Jose was said to have taken a substance suspected to be sniper and was rushed to the Suleja General Hospital, where he was confirmed dead on Wednesday. Neighbors said the late Jose had over the years been doubting his wife's faithfulness to their marriage. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948, and also tweet to us, tube us, and book us, Facebooking us. This matter of killing a wife or a husband who you have suspected is unfaithful to you, and then taking your own life has become somewhat rampant. I think a few weeks ago we had another person who did the same thing and then attempted to take her life. What do you make of this? Why are we beginning to see people who are not able to handle these issues in marriage, who are not able to pack up their bags and leave when this is happening? Why are we resorting to killing somebody and then thinking of taking your own life? Is it just about the marriage problem, or is there another problem that we likely need to be talking about?
Put and what?
I know just one coding.
You mean say you are thinking what I'm thinking.
Please tell us.
You know, so some people are not just whole inside. It's important that we understand whoever it is we are dealing with and how to manage them, because marriage for me is still about loving the other person. If you want to stay with somebody, you accept them the way they are and the way their mentality is. For some people, they are strong mentally, they can handle cheating. They can take it and say, okay, I'll walk out. And some people, it messes them up. They don't know how to think. So it's not a good thing to play around. You say that, religion tries to regulate it by calling it adultery, putting a punishment hard on it. That, our modern life has helped us to water down. Traditionally, we disgrace because there's always a victim. They will say an unfaithful woman kills her husband. Nobody talks about an unfaithful man. All of those things is because some people don't have the mental capacity to deal with that, issue. So it's important when you're in a marriage. It's either you're ready. If you're not ready to be faithful, committed to one person, don't need to do the ceremony. Let the person understand you're dating him. You're open to open relationship. Don't bother to marry. Do you understand? Leave the thing open. Use your full chest. Carry your way of life. So the person doesn't expect so much of you. But some women, you go all the way to... I'm not judging this person because she's dead and we did not get our own side of the story. Wow. I'm just trying to make a case out there for the mental capacity of one person, because what we see here is that one person was able to destroy 3 lives. Himself, his own, her own, and the young, poor son.
There's a child
who did not plan any of their own. So people should have a complex thought process of every decision they're making in life. How does it affect you? How does it affect your dependents? How does it affect people who are around you before you go ahead and do it? We've seen where a woman wanted to, to react to cheating. Maybe because now it's the man who is cheating. She decides, oh, I will kill you, I will kill myself. She puts a poison in a meal, and the man's friends come visiting. Everybody. We took it in the papers. Everybody lined up dying. Only a few people survive in the hospital, still holding and dealing with the poisoning. So people must have complex thinking. Is it your intention to destroy the lives of the 14 friends that visited
14
and decided to shook hands inside food? Is that your intention? So people must have a complex thinking, thought process. The law calls it foresight. To be able to predict that, this could be other attendant consequence of one action that you take. So maybe it was one person, you wanted to just, hit him on the head. You throw something at him, he bounces off to the child, sleeping, or somebody else, and you kill some. You must be able to calculate it completely. This man, obviously, is not a mentally strong, stable person. He went on, and what he has done now is destroyed. There's also stigma. The families now are not there. They are the 2 most closest to protect that boy. The 2 of them are not there. The people protecting that boy, if God does not send an angel,
they use it against him.
Remind him. Then even if he's not reminded, he just will grow up. He's old enough, 2014 till date, the child should be about 8 or so years. The child is old enough to know what killed both parents. he will now be living traumatically through their experiences all through his life. We must be able to do this, or else don't bother getting married. Live a free life. It's not for everybody.
Let me come to Mariam. Go.
I mean,
What are your thoughts?
just as you know, it's just a sad situation all over. The truth is, this is about mental health, and this is also about conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Some people have always have never really known how to deal, have never learned how to deal with conflict. When something is really tough, what are the steps to take to protect yourself first, you know, and make sure that you don't make a mistake that you cannot come back from. This is not something that's just happening. It's not like it's rampant now. It's just that I feel with social media, we're able to find these stories and, you know, and it's a good thing because then we learn lessons from that. We learn lessons from those who have the tendencies to behave like this and for those who find themselves with people like that and hopefully maybe see the signs quick enough so that they can leave that area. But, you know, the sad thing about people like this that determined to hunt you down and end a life is we have heard of those who have left marriages like that or relationships like that, and these people would find them until they have done that they have put in their mind to do. And it's just, in cases like that, you just pray also for a strong support system, for strong policies with the government, you know, and social services, maybe provide protection for for any of the vulnerable spouse that find themselves in a situation like this. It's sad. Every time I read stories like that, I just feel sad. Like, you know, this is the end. The death is the end of it.
Everything.
But it's also the beginning, especially when children are involved. And then the families also on the other side. Parents are involved. So imagine the parents of the victim, the first victim. How are they supposed to relate with the family of the man that killed their wife or the woman that killed their husband?
When they're going to relate, you realize that the man has died.
Yes, and then you're looking at a grandchild that you say the father has just done this or the mother has just done this to her child. You know, it doesn't work out well. However you look at it, it just does not work out well. And so I hope that people, when they find themselves in tough situations like that, that they will remind themselves that, you know, I can take myself out of this situation and just save it. There's that problem of ego. How can this happen to me, the man? Or how can this happen to me, this queen of a woman that I am, that everybody, you know? So those are the things also that play a part in this. And we just have to find ways to settle it.
Before I come
the support
back to you,
system is
Nima,
important.
Yeah. So, you know, you mentioned knowing and seeing some of these red flags. In my relationship with people that have one issues in marriage or the other, I've realized that it's not like there's a lack of the red signs. It's not like they did not see it. Some see it and identify it, but they're not willing to move. They always have this at the back of their head that this person will change, and they continue. So how do we now stop you as a human being when you see that this person has a tendency to go this way from getting into the marriage? They will say you want to scatter their marriage. You want them to fall out of love. You are beefing because you are not married. How do we get people to begin to reason properly? Now, how do we know someone who has a mental issue? You may not know.
And so you would have been exhibiting certain traits. In this story, because I got this story from another blog, the sister was the one who found the younger sister of the woman was the one who found her sister dead, strangled with rope and the pillow on her face before she broke into the door and found the man unconscious. That was after he had consumed poison.
What he did.
So she was saying that this wasn't his first attempt at trying to kill her. So this is an unstable man. You know, I always say that family self can save. They didn't
do anything.
Her account was that, you know, his first attempt had been when her sister had to travel to finish their father's house. Their father was with a reputable civil service. He had retired and his pension was suggested by his children to be used for his house. And because their sister was the most educated, she was also nominated to proceed for that, to travel to their village for that work to be done for that project, which she did. And when she went, her husband kept suspecting, where did you go, where did you go, where did you go? She did not fall out of the moon. She has family members. So a man who is possessive, who is uncontrollably jealous, who is unstable, suspicious of every move, it's not a good case of marriage.
Thank you.
You need somebody that's the head. Correct. Somebody you can hold a conversation with. No, some men. That's the final. You don't need that kind of man. It's two. And communication is the real trick. It's
good that you mentioned this, Nima. Because I have seen
young girls to talk to somebody. Then you're in a relationship and the man is saying, don't worry, I'll take care of you. Some women understand it to mean, I'll give you money. It means, for some, I will control every single thing you do.
About you.
The moment you marry me, you lose your intellectual capacity, your ability to think. You cannot reason anything. You know, women, with the way we have this back eye of seeing things, you want to converse with somebody and convince them, and they'll be like, in my own case, it was a lawyer. So,
anything you say.
Anything you say is already. Whereas you have the ability, God has blessed us with that ability to calculate things. And also, if a woman makes an excuse about her family, as a man, you're patient. And you can investigate that. What is stopping you from following your wife to their village?
If you are so pressed.
If you are so pressed. Why do you even have to follow?
Since they are telling you where they are going, it will not satisfy you. You don't have life. Follow.
You know, talking about red flags is important to say it, especially to young girls who are beginning to date, you know, I understand. And also young men too, please. I'm not separating them. Also young men. There's some things that, but the reason I say young girls, because I hear this from girls more, where a boyfriend is possessive, is acting not whatever, normal, but she finds it endearing. Oh,
exciting.
Like exciting. Loves me. He loves me so much, he's so jealous. If anybody even calls me like this, hey, this will fall down. You see them smiling and giggling about it. And see, that's a red flag. That is not funny. I say there's this story that I read recently about twins. She said she's an identical twin, and she had met her boyfriend who had never met her identical twin, and he traveled. And then he asked her, he was supposed to travel, and asked her, where are you? And she says, oh, I'm at a club. And then he comes to the club. She didn't know that he was still around. And he sees her twin sitting on her own boyfriend's lap. He thinks it's his girlfriend and immediately approaches the other one, beating serious bass in front of the whole world. Whoa. Before they now told him, no, that's the twin. This is your babe. And then he kneels down and says he's sorry. And the twin sister is telling her sister, you better let this one go. She was like, no, why should I leave him? He has even knelt down in front of the whole world to show how sorry he is. So why should I leave him? So that for her is like, this is someone that is really there to fight and protect my honor. It's a red flag, Auntie. It's not about protecting you.
We have Charles. Good morning, Charles.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, go ahead, you're live.
It's about this issue of marital violence. This issue is encompassing. It's not just all about the mental health. It also deals with anger. It also deals with serious anger. There are some people who cannot control themselves when they are angry. So I suggest that before people come together as a people to raise a family, you should be able to go into serious studies about what you are about to go into. And a preacher once said that when we go to school to study about plants and animals, we spend 4 years in studying them. But when it comes to vital things like marriage that you stay for a whole time, you just spend 2, 3, 4 weeks, start dancing, married. So I think we should, especially in churches, people should do more about educating the people about what they want to get involved in. And especially preachers, you also reduce this aspect of when once you are married, it is for better, for worse. That's why people go into marriages and they feel that they are not treated well. They are there because of the Christianity they are practicing.
All right, thank you so much, Charles. Thank you, Charles, for that. So he's talking about going to school, and that was supposed to be my next line of thought. We're not properly prepared for this thing called marriage. We don't have schools where you can go and learn how to have proper conversations with your spouse, how not to let emotions get in the way most of the time so you can see clearly. We need to start looking into that. All these therapists, psychologists need to start designing programs into that so that people can actually get ready. Because anything can happen in that marriage. Your patience will be tried almost every minute of the day in marriage. Some of us have been married for that long, we understand. But if you don't have that ground footing on how to communicate, have a conversation, you understand me, I understand you, we come to a compromise, we come to an agreement, it becomes a major problem. But, you know, you were saying something about the twin who was, he knelt down and everything. We need to start paying attention to how we raise our children. Some people don't know how to receive love. What they define as love is abusive and toxic. I had a friend in the university who the boyfriend will beat basbos. She will faint. She will be in coma for like 3 days. She dated this guy for 7 years. And her excuse is that he loves me. He loves me. If he sees me talking to a man, he will show that he's the man, that she can't date anybody who doesn't beat her to show that he's territorial. For me, it was ringing in my head like, this girl has no clue, because I came from that sort of home and I told myself this is not the kind of love that I want. How do we begin to help people around us to understand what real love should be? Nima, I have a lot of young girls. Mary,
just by keep talking, we just need to keep talking, showing them examples of how when people stay in abusive, toxic relationships, how it affects them. And we need to also keep talking to boys as well. So it's not just girls, because we're seeing this also
both ways,
where we're hearing stories of men who find themselves in toxic relationships, are unable to leave because as the man, there are some things you should swallow and just take, you know. So you're right, they need to be able to determine what is toxic, what is abusive, and what's real. You see that thing of the girl that talked in university. I remember in class, a lecturer was just talking about something random, and beating came up as a conversation. And this adult girl stood up and said, yes, it's okay for a man to beat. And it was shocking to a lot of us. They were like, whoa. But for her, and also, obviously, where she comes from, is fine. And she tried to justify it. She says, it shows that a man cares for you. He's supposed to be there to guide you and to protect you.
But my father that you are.
Yes, she's a full adult in the university.
No, she's not grown finish.
She's not grown finish.
I mean, yes, there has to be, but that is how they've been raised. So we need to speak differently. You're even lucky that you're able to separate yourself from that, because for most people that grow up in situations like this, they just carry on. That's what they know. That's how they've been socialized. That's how they've been brought up. So that's what they would expect from where they are getting. We have heard people who talk down at men who are really kind and understanding. And say, this person is a weak man. This man does not really show his strength. He's not a man. And, you know, we put them aside, and you find these women end up in very abusive, toxic
men that don't respect them.
Young girls, young men too, you must know what these red flags are. Don't be with someone that's constantly prodding and poking you, and pushes you, you know, and you're very angry. When you find yourself in a situation where someone is constantly doing that, take yourself out.
Immediately.
And it's okay to just say bye. You know what, for my mental health, for my own good and my sanity, it's okay to walk away.
Okay, so we have another caller, Idironke. Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Idironke.
Thank you very much. I've been a fan of this show for a very long time, but I've not been able to access your line. But thank God I'm here this morning.
Thank God. We're happy for you.
Thank you. What the topic you are discussing really is a very, very sensitive topic, I need to tell you. But let me talk from my own experience. Marriage, I lost my husband sometimes. I'm a widow before, but I had to remarry.
Okay.
But in this present relationship I am now, I tell you, he's not like, you know, my previous husband that died. But because he's not an abusive man, that's why I'm enduring. But, you know, when it comes to the character, I mean, he argues over everything. He just wants to argue and argue and argue. I tell you, I really don't know how to put it. Young ladies coming now, you know, when you advise them, they don't tend to listen. They just believe you want to scatter their present, you know, relationship. But I don't know. Like you have said, a lot of seminars, a lot of talks have to be done. like Lima said, you know, you don't have to be married. You don't have to. It is not by force.
Yeah.
It is not by force, but it is because of the society we are in that, you know, that if you have me, they think it's just one of the successes of life. But there are a lot of single women who are,
doing
you know,
well,
who are better off. And a lot of us who are even married are even living singles.
yeah.
We are living like singles. I tell you, if I had known, I wouldn't have even considered, considering remarrying.
Oh.
I wouldn't have.
Wow.
I wouldn't have. But because I've, you know, I had another children in this relationship, I just want to, you know, see how it goes. I don't want a broken home. But if the man has been abusive, anyway, I will have walked away. Because I'm the one even doing all the responsibilities.
Oh, Chukwu.
The man we are even talking about, that's my own husband. He's not even doing anything for me now. He's a lazy man. He will tell you he doesn't have money. I was not contemplating. If I had even known, I would have even stayed, you know, being a widow. So that's my own personal account. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's being so vulnerable.
Miriam, before the call, that, you know, let's dispel some of this myth about, you know, how love should be, you know, and then the caller called. I don't agree with her word use of lazy. They're just men who are irresponsible, who really do not care. But being lazy can also be insultive to a man who is trying his best but is not meeting up.
Okay.
So I would not necessarily use that word. But the first time I heard that it is love to slap a woman, I heard it from a woman who enjoys being slapped.
Jesus.
She said that, you know, she's very temperamental, and when she's very angry with her husband,
she needs to be calmed down.
Let her buy her a bottle of one of these alcohol brands I don't want to mention.
Calm her down.
Then she will calm down.
Yes.
I was about 14. And I knew, because I come from a home where
It's different.
it's totally different. How do you want to convince me that's how they love people? Then I grew up and I heard another woman say to me, there's no marriage in this world where the man has never beat the woman. If any woman tells you she has never been beaten, she's a liar.
I will tell you.
I say, okay, thank God I'm not from that home. I have never seen my parents beaten.
Never
Ever,
experienced.
What they
never.
see.
Yeah.
What they
So
see.
if I had seen it,
Probably.
she had just wired me
So receive it.
Yeah.
to believe it. I'll start taking it.
Yeah.
So some of these myths that we hear around, they're so terrible. This is a woman who called. She's a widow. Just probably looking for an opportunity to be loved. This area of every human being needs to be nurtured. And so she went into the wrong person's relationship. Then there will be shaming of by society if she leaves that setting for another and try again. They'll say, you know the shame? You know?
Only
But
you and this.
there's that need. A friend of my coach and myself had the conversation once, and I said, this woman is divorced. Maybe she was widowed. Whatever her past was, she deserves a child at marriage. And if she's so happy, why is her happiness paining somebody? Or should she be condemned, die, killed?
Because she's trying
And
to
we're
find
Muslims.
happiness. Yeah.
She was married, and somebody said, no, she didn't want to remarry somebody's husband. We will be Muslim. We either want to be Muslim or we don't want to be. Because you know, it's a different arrangement.
Yeah.
Pick one side. So she had to restart, and that marriage is so beautiful. Wow. You want to condemn it because she married somebody's else's husband. And she's not even their mate. She's much older. And see, choose one. You know, we make life so tough for ourselves.
Yeah, I agree.
The issue that should be your concern is the balance for Muslims. If there's that balance, there's no issue. Everybody deserves a right to that happiness and try again. Those examples that Miriam talked about, I heard so many of them. I know a young girl when we were back when I was in university. She was in the Polytechnic. She stayed a 12-year relationship and ended the marriage, and all the 12 years, public slap and beating.
Jesus Christ. And she went ahead.
The one that broke my heart was that the guy was convocated in Unilag. She left the Polytechnic to come to Unilag. Now she carried food for head. The real girlfriends, the side chicks, were on the side, hey! And she was being made to think that because she went to Polytechnic, she's a lesser human being. By the guy she ended up marrying. So we need to help young girls around us by saying the truth, no matter how difficult it seems. If you're, like, as she called that, it's good to say, I wish. If you have a young girl around you, tell the girl that, you see this married thing, know exactly what you're looking out for. Yeah. I had matchmade my best friend with somebody, and she said, They were driving on the road. Somebody brushed his car. He parked. He went crazy. And he went to fight. And she was like, it's okay. He said, get in the car. Yeah. End of relationship.
Yeah, immediately.
Do you understand?
A smart girl.
She said she was told, get in the car. She said, I just took the next available car. May I not see that guy again? His name starts with a T, in case he's watching. May I never ever see that guy again? You know?
T.
So,
I've heard you.
So that's how she ran. And those are the things that we should be telling young people.
Yeah.
We know how. We saw a video of a Nigerian married to a white woman who was recently abused.
Yeah.
She stabbed him, and videos are now surfacing of how she even abuses him once they enter the lift and all the corners that she can find. So you can imagine what kind of life he lived in that marriage.
In that house.
Even if you are a man, they want to call you weak. Please, if I'm your relative, come.
Leave
we'll deal with it.
So, you know, this thing you said is very important, and I think we need to start helping young women understand self-love. If you love yourself, nobody will see red flag on your behalf. You will see it. Once it touches you and is not going down well with your skin, you will move.
You know, in case it's going down well.
No. If you have self-love, it will not go down well.
You know, we just handle those who think it is part of self-love to take it.
That's the wrong self-love, and it comes from a place of beliefs. So they have seen around their home, they have seen women around them saying it's okay to be slapped, it's okay, and it's become a limiting belief in their brain. So that is what they now consider normal. So we need to start helping them change what they consider normal to see what exactly should be normal.
Marriage is for two happy, willing, consenting adults. So happy. Nobody is squatting in anybody's house. I'm not the man of this house. Nobody say you're not the man. But the poor person, she wasn't living on the street. You did not come and tenant her.
Even if she was.
Two willing, consenting adults who must be able to thrive in a happy, loving environment. So you are growing, the other person has the right to grow. No one plant will die because another plant should be big. That's not how marriage should be. And we must dispel that thought. If you truly love somebody, it is when that person is thriving that you have your fulfillment.
Exactly.
That is how it's supposed to be. What has the gender?
That is
whether it's a man or a woman. Let's take messages, but let's have your thoughts, Miriam.
A few people are not happy with. They said, "Oh, everything is so sad." They wanted something else.
Sorry.
We have tweets from previous topics.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the bishop did not. This person, the Truth News says, the bishop did not reject the 25 million naira from the governor to the church. What he rejected was the donation the governor said he was going to whisper the bishop personally. Nevertheless, kudos to the bishop. And then this person says, oh, sorry.
Immaculate Boy says, if you are sick, go see a doctor. Car bad, mechanic, travel issues, travel agent. Why do we go to marital? Why do we go with okay, so who do we go to? Yes. Who do we go to with marital issues? Akasha Nima is saying people should be strong mentally. Why are cars not strong to withstand rigors? For me, it is therapy. So I agree with him too.
Then Williams Olajumoke says politicians know that they can easily use religious leaders to reach the people because we're a religious country. I pray our religious leaders take up their responsibility to guide us right and not stay on the sidelines. Kudos to the bishop, and hope the governor reflects on this. Yeah,
let's have your final words. We're wrapping up.
Okay.
So this is our advice to young people again, and not just young people. Even if you're in marriage and you suddenly realize that this is no longer, because I have somebody very close to me now who she is natural. I would say naturally, because that's all I've seen since I've known her, resentful and toxic because of what she has been through in marriage. But she's still in that marriage. But everyone she touches just feels like, she's burning people. She's burning people. What advice do you have for that kind of person?
You know, there's something
that one is deep.
Yes. You know something about, you see self-awareness. We throw the word anyhow. But you see that thing, it's a gift if you have it, and it's a curse if you don't have it. If you realize I am in this and it's making me behave like this, is hurting. Once you just come to that realization of, you know, you're able to drop ego aside, everything aside, and look honestly to yourself and what it is you are, who it is you are, and what you're going through, then there are a lot of things you let go. There are a lot of things you come out of. And it's important for people to take that time out and self-reflect and see where you are and how the relationship you are in is affecting the other relationships.
So give yourself the gift of second chances. You know, when the life you're living presently, so for some women or men who stayed on in abusive marriages, they see how it hurts their children, how they, you know, in reaction hurts their family members. Like Miriam said, when you become self-aware, you don't want to be that burning flame, burning
other people around you.
Give yourself the gift of a second chance. No
and everybody should adopt talking to a professional, talking to a therapist, a life coach. Sometimes we say, okay, let's talk to our, you know, leaders in church. Not all of them are equipped to handle those sort of cases. You need to talk to professionals who have the tools to help you even find that self-awareness in the first place. That's all we can take on the show today. Thank you so much, ladies. It's been a wonderful week. We'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye now.